The Giving Pledge. One day we will all be free when the Giving Pledge happens and they give to charity. Provide minimum basic income and give Black people their reparations. They have the money, it can be done now, and show everybody who you truly are. Hi, I'm here today to explain why some white people think that they don't want to give Black people reparations. They think it's because that somehow or another it will mean that Black people will no longer work. Well, if you've noticed that a lot of Black people don't want to work for white people anymore because prior to the 1980s, we had our own businesses, and when integration became the substitute for equal, fair, just treatment, that we were not fully integrated. Instead, rich white people created a sharecropper economy where Black people work underneath white people. So where we made money, then white people make money on top of us. They created licensing for our beauty parlors and our barbershops. We've been doing hair while we were enslaved. We also were the ones who built all of those fancy plantation homes. But then when they created a whole licensing process where you could only build a house if you were a licensed contractor, the employees were Black and the overseer or the sharecropping master was a white contractor. He would double the price, take all of the extra money, and not pay us fair wages. So guess what? Black people are not comfortable working when the majority of the money goes to a man who holds a license but doesn't do any work. Latinos haven't gotten the message yet. They are the new slaves paid minimal money to do hard labor. And if they were working independently, like when they do the lawn services, they can make more money. So they too are learning that sharecropping is not the best way to go. The best thing to do is to have your own independent business away from white overseers who are taking most of the money. But if Black people are given reparations, then white people don't have to worry about us as a threat to their comfort, success, and safety. Black people wouldn't be out trying to rob people if we had enough money. Black people would still work because more money is more money. But Black people do not want to work for someone who is taking advantage of them or paying them less than what they're worth. Latinos, Mexicans are coming here and they're finding out that's what's happening to them. They are working very hard, but they're being paid less than what they're worth. But the only reason they took those jobs was because Black people stepped aside. White people told Latinos that we were being lazy, don't talk to us. We can make more money on our own now than we could by working directly for an overseer, white slave master, or a licensed contractor who takes all the profits and still gives Latinos very little money. So what is the real problem with giving Black people reparations? Rich people are selfish and greedy. During Reaganomics, unions were broken up and people could not join together to require rich people to share the wealth. And so now we have billionaires like Warren Buffett who raised the price of housing so that the children of the middle class in the 90s can't even afford to buy a house. Did Black people do that? No, they did not. Did Latinos do that? No, they did not. Warren Buffett and other rich white men decided real estate was the way for them to make a lot of money. But to do that, they had to make sure that middle class people could no longer afford to buy at a reasonable rate. The economy crashed because of that crap, but Congress, Democrats and Republicans agreed to pay money to the banks and the people who were robbing middle class white men, who were the same people who were robbing middle class Black men. So if you really do the history, think about it and learn, Black people have no power over middle class white men. It is rich people who are the common problem for us all. The money that Bill Gates makes on computers, that money should be shared more with schools and with students so that every student has a computer to take home. And Elon Musk throwing money into space, it's the rich white guys who are causing the problem. Have you heard of the Giving Pledge, where Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates and other rich guys have said they're going to put their trillions of dollars into a fund that will help the needy? The good cause for them to put their money into would be minimum basic income for all people, so that white people could then help their children buy homes. That money could be used for white people to help their children go to college without taking out ridiculous loans. That money could help everyone end poverty, would end people breaking into people's homes. We would end general theft and robbery. People would not go to the grocery stores and steal food because everyone would have a minimal basic income. But at the same time, we would have to have a freeze on housing costs because every time the people get more money, housing costs double and triple. But guess what? The salaries for middle-class people have not gone up since the 1990s because rich people have taken all of that money, raised the price of housing, raised the price of food, raised the price of everything that you need every day, and they take that money and put it in their pocket while they make sure the middle class is not doing as well as it used to. In the 1980s and 90s, a school teacher could buy a house. Now they can't because the rich are getting richer and the middle class and the poor are stuck in the same position. Those rich people, if they really were going to do something good for people, would make sure they took their money to create minimum basic income and stop inflation by them no longer investing in property to make middle class homes out of reach for other people. And that's the same place for reparations to come from. And only through paying reparations will the racist behavior of people end. But I'm also saying a critical part of reparations is that every American must go through therapy. Black Americans need to go through therapy so that we can be healed from the trauma of constantly having to look over our shoulders to see what crazy things white people were going to do. And the white people who have been out to attack and undermine the health and well-being of black people, they need therapy because they don't understand that they are being used as pawns. Black people would like for white people to have basic income, just like we need basic income. But because white people have been holding black people down, that has also allowed rich white people to hold middle-class white people down. There's a thing called karma. And when you wish bad things on other people, bad things happen to you. White people have said they wish black people would stop having so many kids. And guess what? Now white people have negative population growth. White people have wished that black people would not move into their neighborhoods. Well, you know what? All over the world, white people's homes have been burned down. And when COVID happened and landlords raised their rents, now there are more white people living on the street than ever before. That's what happens when you wish bad things. They're suffering the consequences. White powerful people will be sat down so that black people can rise up and take their proper place. Rich people have enough to make sure we are all doing well. The only reason rich people keep white middle class people and black people down is so that they have people to serve them. They want servants. They want to have a house too big for them to care for. They want to have people who are working hard like slaves so that they can live a rich life. Well, guess what? In order for the rich to be rich, they have to have poor people serving them. And if middle-class white men don't want their children to be the poor people serving rich people, then you need to join together with black people and require the rich to share the wealth now. The giving pledge should be money now pledged for minimum basic income and for reparations for black people. And then when white people get minimum basic income and the rich stop hoarding all the wealth, guess what? We have a better world. We just want to have safe, happy, healthy lives just like you. So let's come together, work together, and require the rich white guys who have created the giving pledge to give. Now is the time, and this is the place for all of God's people to come together in God's grace. With God's grace and favor, we move up so that all can see who God intended for all of us to be. Happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Now is the time for us all to rise together.